All right, let's talk about something most of us have a complicated relationship with: exercise. If you've ever felt like it's a massive chore, you are definitely not alone. And we're about to dig into the surprising reasons why that is.
I mean, we've all been there, right? The alarm goes off for that morning workout, and your first instinct is to just hit snooze. So, why is something that's supposed to be so good for us so incredibly hard to do sometimes? Well, it turns out the answer has less to do with your personal discipline and a whole lot more to do with our deep evolutionary past. To really get this, we're going to look at the work of Harvard professor Daniel Lieberman. He's an expert in human evolutionary biology, and his insights might just change how you see everything.
Okay, first up, let's bust a huge myth right out of the gate: the myth of laziness. You know, that idea that if you don't feel like exercising, it's somehow a personal failing. We're told all the time to just push harder, to overcome our natural urge to just chill. But is that desire to relax on the couch really a flaw in our character, or something else going on?
And this right here is the core of the whole problem. It's what scientists call an evolutionary mismatch. For our ancestors, food, energy, was hard to come by. Every single calorie was precious, so they evolved a super powerful instinct to save energy whenever they could. Resting wasn't laziness, it was a non-negotiable survival strategy.
So that urge you feel to take it easy, that's not a character flaw. It's a deeply ingrained survival instinct that's now clashing with our modern world of abundance. We literally never evolved to just exercise for its own sake. We evolved to move when we had to. Now, this whole instinct to conserve energy leads us right into the next big misconception: this idea that the only physical activity that really counts is sweating it out with intense cardio. You know, we tend to glorify things like marathon running as the absolute peak of fitness. But think about our ancestors. Their physical lives were incredibly varied. They were walking, digging, carrying heavy things, climbing. Their workout was just life, a full body thing, every single day. So a much healthier way to look at this is to think of your movement like a balanced diet. As Professor Lieberman's research shows, that intense cardio is just one small part of the plate. A huge and often totally overlooked piece of the puzzle is strength training. And look, strength training isn't about becoming a bodybuilder, not at all. It's about something way more fundamental to staying healthy as we get older. It keeps the muscle we naturally lose, it keeps our metabolism humming, and it protects our bones and joints. It's what our bodies were actually designed for. This brings us to what might be the most pervasive myth of them all, the one that gets so many people to lace up their sneakers in the first place: the link between exercise and weight loss. The entire fitness industry pretty much sells us on this one simple idea: burn more calories through exercise, and you'll lose weight. But this can be so incredibly frustrating when you're putting in the work at the gym and the number on the scale just refuses to budge. And there's a really good scientific reason for that frustration. It's because our bodies are just brilliant at maintaining energy balance. When we go and burn a ton of calories, our bodies often compensate. We might feel hungrier and eat a little more, or maybe we just fidget less the rest of the day without even realizing it. It makes losing weight through exercise alone, well, extremely difficult. So the huge takeaway here is that we need to totally reframe our goals. Exercise is absolutely incredible for our health, for fighting disease, for boosting our mood, for sleeping better. But when it comes to managing weight, our diet is just a much, much more powerful tool. Okay, so where does that leave us? If shaming ourselves for being lazy is totally counterproductive, and focusing only on weight loss is misleading, what's the actual solution? Well, the answer seems to lie in a much more compassionate approach. The key, and this is such a relief, is to stop fighting our own ancient biology and start working with it. This means we stop blaming ourselves and our willpower, and we start getting smart about changing our environment to make moving the natural and maybe even the desirable choice. And this gives us a really practical roadmap. We can actually trick our ancient brains into wanting to move by tapping into things we're already wired for, making it social, making it necessary, and making it fun. These things can actually override that deep-seated instinct to just sit still and save energy. So after going through all this, if you're gonna remember just one thing, what should it be? It's this: be kind to yourself.
That feeling of dread when your 5 a.m. alarm goes off for that spin class, that's not a personal failure. It's a sign that your ancient evolutionary wiring is working perfectly. When we swap that self-judgment for this kind of understanding, we can finally start building a healthier relationship with moving our bodies.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty big thought to chew on. Instead of always trying to force ourselves to fit into a modern world that practically begs us to sit still, maybe the real challenge is to start changing our world to fit us. Thanks for watching.